Welcome, everyone. Um, so today we're going to talk about how to include yourself more. So it's kind of an extension of equal energy exchange. Okay. We talk about, serving others, and sometimes we forget to receive, and we don't know how to receive. It's kind of like a new skill for a lot of us because we're so used to sacrificing and reducing ourselves and be too accommodating, to over servicing, because that's how we were brought up, and that's how society is, isn't it? Yeah. So I feel like lately I've been in situations where I had to learn how to receive more. And I thought I was a good receiver, and it's just more lessons of receiving. So if you have like shoulder problems and stuff, it could be you shoulder too much, and that you need to share some of that burden. And sometimes we think, I can handle this, but if your body's saying, no, no, you're still hurting, you're still having this heaviness, then you're like, okay, well, I guess I need to share more, and receive more love and more support. Okay. Sometimes we feel like maybe we're not strong enough, right? Maybe we need to strengthen our shoulders and back. But let's talk about some skills to help us do that equal energy exchange, so we can include ourselves more, because sometimes we want to have that equality, but it just don't know what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some statements to help you include yourself, and then we'll go backwards and then talk about um, the beliefs and the thoughts behind all that. So, like, do you or were you like this before? You might say, "Oh, don't worry about me. I can handle this." Okay, that's like pushing others away and trying to carry things on your own. Do you say, "Oh, go, just go. I'll stay. I'll watch the kids." Yeah. Okay. Or, "Oh, so and so, she has too much to do, too much to handle. Um, let me do it. I'll stay back. I'll stay late. I'll I'll put in the hours, put more work in, because so and so looks like they have their hands full." Okay. And maybe so, if you're inspired, but not all the time. Okay. So we can say, "Oh, don't worry about the dishes. I'll do it. Go enjoy yourself. I'll clean up." Okay. So when we hear statements like that, it's us not including ourselves and allowing people to have this equal energy exchange with us. Right? What do you guys think?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, yeah. It's subtle, and it feels normal. Feels like it's something we all do anyways. But what happens is we're teaching our friends and our kids um, how to reduce themselves. We're not allowing others to give, and we're not allowing ourselves to receive. So we're kind of stopping that flow, right? Life happens to us, like, we were talking about earlier. We get hurt or things happen. Um, and in those situations, it's an invitation, I feel, for us to open up and receive. We don't want to be a taker in our minds. We say, "Oh, I don't want to take too much or burden others." But I think there's a balance, and we all have to kind of pray and ask God to help us figure out that balance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like more than not, the people, especially in this community, give more, and they just maybe not used to receiving as much. Yeah. So you guys can help come up with more ideas. But one of the ideas that I have here is, you can say, if people are offering help, you can, thanks for your offer of assistance. I really appreciate it. Say yes, please. You know, if people say, hey, let me know if you need help, you're like, well, thank you for your offer. Huh? I appreciate it. Yes, please. Let's do it. I'd love some help. So these things I feel like I had to practice. Like it wasn't natural for me to say yes. Yeah. And you know, well, thanks for watching the kids. Thanks for helping me with the chores. Um, you know, or you know, when there's a lot of work, we can say, well, you know, let's stop here. We'll come back tomorrow. The work will still be there. Let's take a break together. When it looks like, you know, the other person's tired and stuff too, you're tired too. So let's stop. We don't have to plow through and push ourselves to the limit. Okay. Sometimes it's not necessary. Yeah. Or I'll dry or you wash. Or, you know, if I cook dinner, do you mind doing the dishes and cleaning up? They just come up with ideas for equal energy exchange. It's a new skill for a lot of us, because we've moved from this motherhood where we're constantly serving the little children, and sometimes as they grow older, it's we haven't adjusted too much, you know, and we're still in that, you know, all giving mode. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I've shifted a lot out of that. And at first it was really hard. It's hard for me and it's hard for other people because they're so used to you saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like some and then like I think a natural byproduct of that is that you start worrying a little bit about what people think
Yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
you. And so when you figure this out, like it takes some practice,
Yeah.
but once you get better at it, you allow yourself, it's Viktor Frankl again, between stimulus and response, there's a space. You allow yourself a little bit of space to just pause and be very authentic about your response. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it can happen really fast. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do I want to do this? Do I not? Am I betraying myself, or
Mm-hmm.
am I being a martyr, or am I being true to myself? So it's like I go see clients and they're always offering me stuff like water and food and all these things, and you know and you know I think the old habit is no, like I'm fine and stuff. And now I pause and I'm like, yeah, actually I would really like a glass of water if that's okay. So
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it
Yeah.
is. But yeah, so just if you allow yourself to pause and you come from a place of pure intent and authenticity, then it usually goes over really fine, very fine. So,
Yeah, I love that. We need to pause and then feel. Okay, that's why we're
mhm,
pausing, we're feeling, and we're thinking and asking this reflective questions. Do I want this? You know, or am I betraying myself? Um, yeah, sometimes we just push through and we use our brains too much and you know, think, no. But yeah, just feel it out. And it's going to be a learning curve. And so when we learn, we will have growing pains. So there's discomfort in receiving as well. And
mm,
I feel like there's a point, like there's so much to receive. Like lately, since we've been home, it's like that my siblings caught up on years of, um, you know, spoiling our children. Like, you know, like every day my siblings bring something over. The kids have a whole new wardrobe. They've got all these treats and food, and I'm like every day we're like stuffing our faces with treats. Like, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried this? This is new in town, and da, da, da. And I'm more, oh my gosh, like we just ate. But I feel like this is really uncomfortable with all of these gifts and all of this love. And I can take a little bit here and there, but it's just a bombardment of like people wanting to take turns and serving and giving. Um, and I'm like, I can't possibly turn around and find something enough to like exchange with you. And all I can do is say thank you and enjoy it. And I sat my kids down right before we came here, and I told them the same thing. I said, this is what I suspect. They want to treat you, they want to give you gifts, and it's going to be kind of weird. We know how to receive presents and stuff at birthdays and things, but this is probably going to be a lot more than that, right? We're just helping, grandma out, and she gives you a $50 note. And it's like, and one of my daughters, she started crying because she was like, thank you, you're so nice. And my mom was like, oh, so teary. And she's like, what is going on? I'm like, she's just really grateful. So I told them, just receive, be happy, give them hugs, enjoy the food, and then I had to teach them the words in Vietnamese, like, oh, I'm full, I'll have it later, and thank you. I just kind of repeat after me. This is how you say no, or just, not now. But anyways, it's been great. So I made this here, and I haven't posted it yet, but it's a little post to kind of remind us, how to include yourself. Sometimes when I say equal energy exchange, maybe people don't understand. So, here's a column of don't say, don't worry about me, I'll manage, you go, I'll handle this here. Okay, other people must be too busy, I don't want to bother, I want to be a bother. Go enjoy yourself, and I've got this. So instead of saying that, we say this other thing. Instead, we say, thanks for offering your help. I'll take you up on it. I appreciate whatever help you can. Yes, I'd love the help. Thank you for your kindness. And let's do this together, and we can get it done sooner. So just kind of different ways of speaking, things that I think was really difficult when I was trying to do my own healing. So anyways, I'll post this later. But yeah, if you have other ideas, you can just jump in and share. What do you guys think? Quick reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there something else that is common?
I'm just thinking like, what do I say? And I go, oh, like, yes, that would be so helpful. Like, yes, that would be so helpful. Or that's so helpful. Thank you. Something like that.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to add that to this. Yeah. So
you don't have to.
I was thinking it. I was thinking it. I'm like, some of these sound similar, and I'm like, I need to kind of add it too. So yeah, that would be so helpful. Yeah. No, it's so good. Anyways, yeah, we'll post this soon just to help us remember, and maybe you might want to say things in your own words in a different way, but it takes intentional practice, and you have to decide, what do I want to say when I want to receive? Yeah, it's a new skill for some of us here. All right. So why do we want this equal energy exchange? Now, let's think about that too much. Or why don't people allow themselves to have this equal energy exchange? So sometimes I feel like people don't believe that they're deserving, and they haven't practiced receiving that love when they were growing up. They haven't been given that. Their parents have had conditional love, holding love back. as if it's like a treat. I'll give you a little bit of love if you can do this for me and that. And it's kind of a form of manipulation. Yeah. And so we just need to kind of wipe that clear and, train ourselves to think differently. So, what is the real reason why we need to learn how to have this beautiful equal energy exchange? Okay. Why do you think? I discovered that it teaches us unity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
That's all.
Sorry, go ahead, Jade.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like when I say to people, yes, that would be so helpful, like it feels reciprocal. Like my appreciation for them is the exchange for them offering something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it puts us on, like you said, unity, but like even playing fields, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
this ability to meet each other where we're at and feel good about our offering
Mm-hmm.
on both sides.
Yeah. So it's like honoring the feeling of your heart, knowing that there's this reciprocation, like you said, Debbie. Yeah. Well, we have to kind of learn this well so that we can teach our children to be joyful, self-aware adults. Yeah. Because if we're doing this sacrifice, we're thinking we're giving them this love, that they're going to be happy and comfortable. But we're teaching them and training them that adulthood is not fun. Yeah. And when you become an adult, you're going to be sacrificing your own happiness. But I feel like what message we can send is things get better and better and life gets happier and happier. Yeah. So as we grow older, we're wiser, have more blessings and we take care of ourselves better so that they have more to look forward to. Because we don't want to send a message that life just gets tougher and tougher and uglier and less fun. Okay. So in your mind, make a decision right now to include yourself. Okay. So sometimes we reject ourselves, sometimes we don't accept ourselves, and then we wonder why people forget us or don't include us or don't think of us, because we're the one that's reducing ourselves and we're serving and serving, and nobody really sees all the things that we do, right? So when we have more, we allow ourselves to value who we really are, just as much as others, just as equal as others. We can help alert people to our own importance. So sometimes I feel like I didn't do that much, and people are giving me all of this stuff anyways. But I think just let them, because they are showing you how much they value you. Yeah. Debbie, yeah.
Also, I think like as we just become like we have hearts full of charity and we just have like a mind of a servant.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I think God is just blesses you through other people,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I just think that like some, people just show up or offer to do things or whatever. And if we can recognize it for what it is, then we'll be even that much more grateful and humble.
Yeah, yeah. It's a faith promoting, and lately I've been teaching my kids that faith promoting experience, because my family is my kids have made a little list of the things that they want to eat and they want to do, right? And it's funny because one of my daughters was talking to my sister, and she said, "Yeah, and I just have this, craving for these things when I come home." And my sister's like, "You mean that and that right there?" And my daughter was like, yes. Where did it come from? I was just mentioning it, and it just showed up. And so our little joke is, here's this thing that magically appears, whenever she wants something, she wishes something and it's there. Um, it's just interesting how, everyone else kind of feels it, and then wants to serve and reciprocate. They want to express love. They want an avenue, a place where they can give love and where somebody will gratefully receive love. So little treats and things, and like I said, clothes and just gifts and stuff. And my kids are like, everything we wanted and more. And I thought, okay, and receive and just recognize this is the hand of the Lord. I mean, he must have blessed them with the inspiration and blessed them with the means. And here they are, just gifting it to us. I'm like, honestly, we don't need this much stuff, or clothing or food or whatever. We're really good. We're not hungry, or, but just receive. So anyways, it's a good lesson for the whole family lately. And I figured, yeah, we want to share this lesson that we're learning. So Satan lies to us and tells us you are less than, and who do you think you are? And to reduce yourself, right? And then you're not worthy because you're measuring yourself against all the things you haven't done yet or haven't achieved yet. Okay. And then it kind of, Satan will say, well, that's not humble. If you're, out there taking too much or whatever, or asking too much, okay, and you need to be humble. So that's like this false humility that we're feeling, okay, and it's false because you feel small and you feel forgotten, okay. So real humility is just to see and learn lessons. If the Lord wants to bless you with things, receive it. And I think this is the next stage of this earthly existence. Beautiful Sandra here, her family's experiencing a higher level of blessing now. And I think we're not receiving the higher level of blessing because we are not opening our heart to receiving. So I feel like today's call is about opening up and making more room. Sometimes we pray for help and assistance, but then we don't receive. I know that's my issue, right? But as I keep opening up, things are handed to us. And, the best thing we can do is just show lots of gratitude and love for the Lord. Praise him is really, we can't possibly earn everything that we've received. It's just all this grace that happens. We do our best, right, to do what we can to offer love and service and sacrifice for people. But honestly, the Lord gives us way more, than we ever ask for or even, work for or earn. Okay. So again, another invitation for you is to open up your heart even bigger, receive greater blessings, put more ideas down of things that you would like to have if if you had this magic wish for yourself and your family. So I would ask myself, what more do I want? It's not greedy. If you want more friends, more peace, more rest, you want better health for people. And, I've been reading in the scriptures and somewhere, I can't remember, it was in Acts, I think, and it was talking about the people prayed unceasing, for certain leaders, certain apostles or whatever. And I thought, yeah, why don't we pray unceasingly for each other? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, it's very minimal effort, I feel, right? But when our heart goes out and we kind of make space when things were taken out of your heart, you know, you're giving, you're making space to receive. All right, so I was thinking about two oils that we can use to help with that. The first oil is coriander. Kind of like what Debbie mentioned earlier, we need to honor ourselves. We need to kind of pause and feel our heart and say, do I want this? Or even for me, it's like, what do I want more? You know, because I'm like, everything I've had in my, you know, plans, my life plans for the last 5 years, it's happened. And so now, let's open up and start more hopes, more plans, more dreams, right? So coriander. So if you take that internally, your body will help you absorb more sugar. And also, you know, it helps when, you know, we get shaken up. When things change in our lives, we get shaken up. If there's an accident or if somebody has strong energy and it shakes you, coriander helps with that too. Okay. So say affirmations, you know, like I honor myself, I allow myself to have joy, I allow myself to receive more joy, more love, more support. Okay, so coriander. And the next oil is pink pepper. Okay, pink pepper is this intrinsic equality. If other people deserve all this love and tenderness from you, then you're allowed to receive all this love and tenderness too. Right? You're equal in the sight of God, right? To everybody else. You're equally important. And when you feel that way, then you stop comparing, right? Because comparison kills joy, doesn't it? And you're trying to measure yourself against all of these worldly measures. Am I good enough? Did I do enough? So when you feel like you're equally important, you go to God, and then you will know when you've done enough and when to delegate. I feel like we underutilize our guardian angels, right? So when you know you can only do this much today, send your angels out to do the rest. And I hope that it becomes a habit for all of us to say, I've done my best. I'm trying to do all of these things. Can you make sure, you know, angels, make sure this happens and this happens and this happens. Go bless so and so. Go watch out over someone, right? So pink pepper, guys. Right, I like to use it internally as well. You know, you can smell it, rub it on your belly. The tummy is like the seed of creation. Okay, so it's a good place to put it. You guys, how do you use coriander and pink pepper?
Coriander and I are good friends. For a time, it's probably been a couple years, but it just, did it come up again on my skin? Anyway, I took it internally for months because I needed some help.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it could be generational stuff too. Like I feel like some of the women in the past have like betrayed themselves, reduced themselves.
A lot of that.
And I'm like healing for them. So yeah, like I hardly test up for coriander, but I think about it often. I think because once in a while when I'm surrounding myself with women in my family, I feel like taking coriander on their behalf. Yeah, because they don't know how to honor themselves, say no to things. Yeah, they run themselves to the ground, and I'm like, okay, I can't change them, but I can help the energy through our connection. Yeah. So those are two oils, guys, that I think would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with this within yourself more, I want to invite you to think about unity. The reason why we want to include ourselves more is because we want to create unity, right? So first of all, you want to create unity within yourself. So less conflict, less conflict within your soul. We feel good about ourselves in one way, and then we hate ourselves in another way, and just so much conflict. So as you choose unity, things will come up, and those things will give you an opportunity to heal yourself further. Okay, so some of these discomforts will come up. And for example, one of my friends were talking about doing a retreat and just charging people, and even the idea of charging people made her feel uncomfortable. And so I'm like, oh, there's that, internal conflict. There you go. Just kind of pick that apart and look at that and figure that one out. Or if you think to yourself, I want to be successful, and then suddenly you're like, I don't know what that looks like. I feel uncomfortable even imagining. I can imagine myself having more and doing more and having this level of joy. Now that's a conflict, okay? Or support. Some people want support. They say they want it, but they don't make it happen, So I want people to help around the house, but really, like I was talking to my mum about this, and she's like, oh, your dad doesn't help, and people don't put things in the right place. And I said, Mum, have you explained to people where to put things? And she's like, no, so we want it, but we don't want it. And there's that conflict because we need to be needed on one side, right? We need people to need us. Yeah. But then we also wanted to have that support. So whatever the conflict is, resolve it so that you can have unity within yourself, oneness within yourself. And once you have that, once to help you have that more, you can have this oneness with God as well. So I tell people to go to God and pray. But how do you know that you've achieved that oneness with God? Because sometimes people will say, oh yeah, I pray, but they're still stressing out so much. I just invite people to pray harder and wrestle with God more. Okay. Be more earnest and sincere. Send your prayers to heaven instead of hitting just the ceiling, right? And you'll know, because when you make the connection, there's just this peace over you, and you just feel powerful. And you feel like you've got a purpose now. About that. So that oneness, Zion, feeling this universal peace.
Yeah, I think it's like the scripture I keep thinking of is like, no more disposition to do evil. Like you have no desire to be contentious and you have an underlying sense of peace even amongst trials.
Yeah. So whatever struggles you're going through right now, you still feel that peace. You want to make peace with everyone too. No more holding grudges, no more division. Yeah, you just want so many good things. And you feel confident that you can have all these blessings. You feel comfortable with prosperity, or abundance. Yeah. We have in the scriptures, how God says that we're equal. We can be joint heirs with Him. I think that comes with a bit of effort, not that we're earning it, but our effort to be obedient and to serve and to sacrifice. Because when we follow that formula, we will feel that connection. Yeah. So if we don't pray and we don't make that connection, of course, we're not going to feel that equality and peace. Yeah. So we talked about, working in service and stuff as equal energy exchange and, feeling included. I just want to say that we can also exchange joy for joy. Yeah. So it's not just like, this hardship. When you have great joy and you want to celebrate, sometimes people reduce that as well. They're like, oh, I'm so excited I achieved something, yay, but I don't want to, what do you call that? Show off or, honk your own horn or whatever. And then you don't give it the rite of passage it deserves. So, we don't celebrate ourselves or appreciate the blessings. Yeah. And on that end, that's not healthy as well. So, what are some examples of exchanging joy for joy that we can do?
Crickets. I don't know. The thought that comes to me is like, this is so random, but it's like when I go to convention, I love to drive. So I just drive my own car. Mm-hmm. And when I go and all my friends are there, like we just pile in the car and yep. Like as many people as I can take. I don't know. I don't know if that's if that represents joy for joy, but that's what came to my mind.
That's what I had next, actually. It's whatever your gifts and talents are, like share it willingly, right? If somebody does something, you don't have to do the exact same thing as an exchange. You do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you love driving, do the driving. If you love cooking, do the cooking, right? And share your gifts and talents with each other because we complement each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was sharing with my sister how my twins, they're very good at complementing each other. So, one is really good at cleaning and organizing, and the other one is good at something else, right? And she's, they just need each other for those services and they thank each other, right? So it doesn't have to be like equal in exact service. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, celebrate, but then recognize your strengths and then, offer those, because when you do the things that make you joyful, it creates more joy. It just kind of builds more energy. So it doesn't diminish you. And that's why we need to take the time to identify our gifts and talents so that we can do this equal energy exchange better. Yeah. So for me, I like doing the dishes and my kids like putting the dishes away, so I offer that as an exchange often. So I'm like, okay, guys, I'll do the dishes, but make sure you put the dishes away. And that works for our family. Yeah. Or my mum likes cooking and I can do the dishes. Yeah. So just something so simple like that. For me, I like making videos. I like hosting meetings. I like teaching stuff. Other people have gifts and talents in other ways, right? And, I'm like, just utilize what I can offer you. And I feel that love is received when people, watch my videos or whatever. Yeah. So take some time, guys, and identify your strengths, your gifts, your talents, so that you can use that to offer as an energy exchange. If you need to practice speaking words to include yourself, to teach others how to balance, because you're going to expect, hopefully, expect your children and your spouse to say, when I do this, can you do that? Then we're creating Zion, aren't we? We're creating this beautiful unity, this heavenly paradise, this world peace, right? And of course, it's going to lift the boat for the whole world. But we'll do that in our own home, and then we'll do that in our community, and it will definitely ripple out. All right. So again, use pink pepper and coriander. And, you know, when you identify what you want, your desires, and have more unity within yourself, you know, some things will come up. The conflicts and the growing pains will come up for you to resolve. Okay. And for me, you know, I just take a little bit of time every day. I don't have too much time to do my energy sessions for me. It doesn't have to, you know, take hours. But, you know, whenever there's this teeny bit of conflict, I just muscle test the oils, muscle test the emotions, and just resolve it and clear it, and say my affirmations, you know, as much as I can remember them that day. And sometimes I feel like it's good. It's good. And maybe the next day I might need, you know, that same oil again, but usually a couple of days, and then I'm set, and I just do it again and again. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys, right? Encourage yourself more so that we can have a, you know, more equal energy exchange, and basically the end result is unity. Okay. Anybody else want to share anything? We're at the hour. Any last comments or thoughts?
It's good. Good reminder.
All right. Well, I'll stop the recording, and you guys can freely speak if you like. Okay.